Some cities seem to be tailor-made for daytime exploration, but there are others that only come alive at nighttime. But no matter when you visit Tiraspol, you are bound to come across something interesting. We who live here know that a brief day trip to our capital is nowhere near enough time to experience all of its many wonders. We start at one of the central squares, dominated by a huge equestrian statue that is the ultimate embodiment of what Tiraspol is all about. Yes, it is the legendary Russian commander Alexander Suvorov, who, in 1793, arrived in Tiraspol to build a fortress on the banks of the mighty Dniester River. Working with the Belgian architect François-Paul Saint-de-Volant, known in Russian as Franz de Volan, the two men are responsible for laying the foundation for the modern city of Tiraspol, and some of their original constructions can still be seen. Suvorov did more than just construct a military fortress. The entire city was refashioned from the ground up on the orders of Empress Catherine the Great. In 1811, Field Marshal Mikhail Kutuzov was sent to Tiraspol to take charge of Russian forces as part of a larger offensive against Ottoman Turkish forces. Today, visitors can see a bust of Kutuzov heralded as one of Tiraspol's greatest military heroes. When speaking about Tiraspol, we also have to speak about Odessa. Yes, today Odessa is a thriving seaport in Ukraine, but 150 years ago, during the days of the Empire, it was actually Tiraspol that was the capital of the Odessa district. In 1867, the first railway in the district was built in Tiraspol. Over the next 10 years, the rail line was extended to cities such as Chisinau, and Tiraspol served as the economic and cultural hub of the entire region. Today, the lines on the map have been redrawn, and Tiraspol is now the capital of the sovereign nation of Pridnestrovia. Despite its wide, spacious boulevards and thriving industries, perhaps the best place to truly enjoy the spirit of Tiraspol is by walking along the banks of the Dniester River, watching the interplay of sunlight through the trees and gentle breezes. The perfect place to sit, to think, and to muse on larger things, much like Alexander Pushkin once did. Russia's greatest poet once strolled the leafy banks of the Dniester River as he composed his legendary poem, Poltava, about the historic battle that took place just a few kilometers away. But let's step away from these bucolic nature scenes and return to the bustling heart of the city. Here we see the prestigious State Theater. And here we see beautiful buildings that date back to the times of Catherine the Great. And yes, here and there we see some buildings from the Soviet era, when strength was valued more than beauty. However, since gaining independence, glittering high-tech buildings have also been erected, giving Tiraspol a uniquely harmonious aesthetic that blends both the historical and the modern. Just as each of the architectural styles found in Tiraspol are unique, so too are the residents of the capital. And they are all represented by the men and women who work here, the Parliament building still known as the Supreme Soviet. From the outside, this building looks similar to those built in Chisinau and elsewhere across the Soviet Union. But if you look closer, you'll notice something curious. The Parliament building in Tiraspol has 5 stories when the standard at that time was buildings with 4 stories. Why did Tiraspol get a 5th floor? No one knows, or if they do, they are insane. No visit to Tiraspol is complete without a trip to the War Memorial. Honoring the bravery and courage of those who fell during World War II and the 1992 Moldovan War of Aggression, the War Memorial stands as a testament of gratitude for the freedom and liberty that these men and women paid for with their lives. And here we are in one of Tiraspol's central squares. It is here where national holidays are celebrated, as well as important cultural events. Whether it is a music festival or a city holiday, it is this square that brings together the 54 different ethnicities that call Pridnestrovia home. Famous visitors include the Orthodox Patriarch Kirill and the singer Philip Kirkorov. Although Tiraspol is a busy capital, residents always take time out to enjoy a leisurely stroll through their city. Keep your eyes peeled because you never know when you might turn into a small alley or courtyard and feel like you've gone back in time. But just a few steps later, you're back on the main street where imperial-era buildings stand cheek to jowl with airy modern buildings made from plastic and glass. If all this walking tires you out, there are plenty of places to relax and refresh yourself. Not just your body, but also your mind and soul. For instance, here at the Republican Palace, you can enjoy a concert from the State Symphony Orchestra. Unwind and enjoy the timeless sounds of classical music composed by the old European masters of the art. Now we find ourselves at the intersection of October 25th and Lenin Streets. This is the beating heart of Tiraspol, the crossroads where all paths join. Whether you head north, east, south, or west from here, there is always something interesting to see. And you can't go wrong by visiting the city's largest theater. Named after Nadezhda Ronetskaya, it is the perfect place to watch a dramatic comedy or a classic drama with a tinge of comedy. As we walk, perhaps this is a good time to speak a little bit more about the history of Tiraspol. In 1940, Tiraspol became the capital of the Soviet Socialist Republic of Moldova. As a result, large-scale construction began, resulting in iconic buildings such as the train station, Shevchenko University, and the theater that we just mentioned. And here we are. Officially known as the State Comedy and Drama Theater, it is here that actors tread the boards and audiences sit enraptured, watching children's tales, immortal works from classic playwrights, vaudevilles, comedies, and even contemporary works. Whichever type of show you came to watch, we are confident of one thing: you will find yourself transported to another world. Tiraspol is more than just its spacious tree-lined streets. Located just east of the city center is the enormous Victory Park. Here, children laugh and play while lovers stroll hand in hand through the quiet green paths, reading stanzas from love poems to one another. Victory Park regularly hosts music concerts and other cultural events, and is home to a small but lively amusement park for the young and the young at heart. And just a few steps farther is the enormous City Botanical Garden. Home to a dazzling array of colorful flowers and plants from around the world, the Botanical Garden is an oasis of peace and beauty. Even in winter, the gardens are a popular destination for residents and visitors seeking an oasis of pure nature and gentle tranquility. Of course, while nature is beautiful, it is industry which powers the nation's economy, and many of Pridnestrovia's largest enterprises are located here in Tiraspol. For example, the capital is home to Tirotex, one of the largest textile firms in Europe. Using state-of-the-art technology, Tirotex provides high-quality finished goods and raw fabric to leading fashion houses in Europe, Russia, and throughout the CIS. And here is Aquatir, one of the world's largest sturgeon breeding facilities. After wild sturgeon became an endangered species due to overfishing for its valuable caviar, facilities such as Aquatir stepped in to responsibly manage supply. Today, Aquatir produces several types of ultra-high quality caviar as well as 7 types of fish for the dinner table. And it is simply impossible to mention industry in Tiraspol without mentioning Kvint, a Russian acronym that stands for the Tiraspol Vodka and Spirits Manufacturing Plant. Kvint is world-renowned for its high-quality brandies and wines. Founded in 1897, Kvint produces a full line of distilled spirits, including brandies that honor the history of Pridnestrovia, such as one named for Suvorov and another named Tiraspol. But buildings, industry, and even nature aside, the real wealth that is to be found in Tiraspol is the people. Simple folks, the people of Tiraspol are more than happy to share their hearth and home with visitors. In fact, don't be surprised if the hospitality that welcomes you might convince you to move here yourself, so that you too can be proud to call Tiraspol home.